What's up, collectors? We back with another posing video. This time we doing Galvatron, and the figure we're using is Fans Toys Sovereign. Dope piece, but let's jump into it. And this is the first pose. Iconic because of the '86 movie. This is where Galvatron tells Starscream, "This is bad comedy." So yeah, definitely want to start off with this pose. Something simple that you can do on the shelf. Now, we only doing this pose for one reason and one reason only, to see if he can pull it off. This is a much overused pose by everybody for like every type of figure. The Superman landing, superhero landing, 3-point landing, whatever kind of landing you want to call it. It's an overused pose, but it's good for seeing how poseable your figure is. And this is pretty good for this figure, considering it has a limited waist rotation and no ab crunch. I think I did a good job getting him in this pose, and it doesn't look half bad. And if you're gonna snap a picture, that's the angle. This pose is a lot harder to pull off than it looks. I got a little bit of a balancing act going on because his toes will not tilt forward, so you pretty much got to balance him on the tip of his toe just to maintain the angle that I want. See, I can get my finger under there, and I hate this gap, such an ugly gap, but necessary to pull off this pose. I even like the way it looks from the back. But yeah, this is a lot harder to pull off than it looks, especially with the weak, well, I ain't gonna say weak, looseness of the thigh rotation. Like any sudden movement, his leg will crumple. One good thing about this figure is there's like 4 or 5 different points of articulation in the arm alone. Like you can just manipulate each section of the arm to get it just how you need it. And of course, they only got the hole for the barrel in one spot, so I had to rotate this part just to get the angle that I needed to get his fist angled down like that, which I had it before. I don't know if I was up. I'm trying not to make this thing fall over. But there it is right there. A blasting pose that looks pretty good. Looks simple enough, but took a lot to pull it off. And this thing constantly falls off. That is not a good connection port for that thing. It just constantly falls off. I'm surprised it's not falling off now while I'm spinning this thing. But again, another blasting pose for your shelf. Here's another simple pose that's a lot harder to pull off than it looks. All because of, again, balancing and the weakness or the looseness of the thigh rotation on this figure. So you're gonna have to do a little finessing to get it to hold. But once you get it though, this is a damn good looking pose. And as you can see, he's a little wobbly as I'm spinning him on the table. Hopefully he don't fall over. But this is a nice looking pose. As you can see, all the air time under his feet. Again, gotta do some balancing with the weight and the legs. Another pose that's gonna take some extreme balancing, especially holding this thing. This is heavy. I had to take some other pieces off because the blast effect was just too heavy for the gun to stay on. But I think that right there looks good enough. But as you can see, this is a straight up balancing act. Got a little 112 stand plugged into his leg, helping hold him maintain that balance. A little wobbly as we spin it, but yeah. But this is a nice little running pose, running and blasting pose. And he collapses. Plugged in right here. All right, here we go with our next pose. What is he doing? I don't know. I just thought this looked like a damn good looking pose. And it's another pose showing off the posability of the figure. Looks kind of like a takeoff pose, an angry takeoff pose. Like he's setting himself up to launch into the sky. That's what we gonna go with. I think it's a sick looking pose. So that's why I made the video. And our next pose is what's now becoming a tradition, a pose of Prime getting hemmed up. Right here we got Galvatron extracting the Matrix from his chest. And yeah, that's it. Just a Matrix extraction pose. Wish I had a gray Prime. I would put him right there, just grayed out. But a gray Prime is only good for like specific scenes and poses. Not necessarily good to have on a display. So I'll never buy a gray Prime. But if I had one, this is the perfect situation for it. After Galvatron defeats Prime, he holds the Matrix up in the sky and declares himself the supreme and ultimate power in the universe. And even declares, "With this, I shall make you my slave." Talking to Unicron, He now possesses that which Unicron fears. Dope pose. Got him climbing up. Well, he not climbing up on a mountain. He just got 1 foot on a higher part of the cliff while holding the Matrix up in victory. This pose was inspired by some art I saw online. Figured I'd give it a try, see if I could pull it off. And I think I did a good job. You got Galvatron facing off against Megatron. Megatron coming in from up high, and Galvatron holding his ground. And as you can see, I got the 6 scale pole holding Megatron up in the air. As I always tell y'all, 6 scale poles work great for posing masterpiece scale transformers. And that's how I have it hooked in right there. This is a excellent pose. Definitely get you some eyeballs if you had this on the shelf. Pose like this. Once again, showing off how posable Galvatron is, or should I say sovereign. Alright, that's it for this pose. If you pose it like that, you can kind of hide the pole behind Megatron and you'll only see it down here at the bottom. But I think this is the best angle for the pose though, for like photography. You just have to remove the pole out the picture. Great pose though. For this next pose, I got Galvatron doing the Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier slide. The slide that Winter Soldier did in the movie when he got rolled up off the car. He was on top of the car, he got rolled up off of it, landed on the ground and slid back, and this is how he was positioned when he stopped. That's what this pose is. The Bucky Barnes slide, that's what we're gonna call this. But I just thought it was a dope looking pose. And I want to see if I can pull it off with Galvatron. And so there you go. This is probably the best angle to snap the picture from. That looks sick right there. Alright y'all, that's it for all the poses. Fans Toy Sovereign, aka Galvatron. Hope some of these poses are helpful, inspiring. Maybe you can use some of them for your shelf, for your display. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I got another video that I did for this figure. One of my very first videos on this channel. Well, it ain't one of my very first, one of my earlier videos. And I got more poses in that video as well. So y'all go check that out. And that's it for me. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.